All right, y'all. Welcome to Street Church. Congregation, come on in. And for first time visitors, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm going to jump right into this video. This video, you know what I just realized? This is like my third video on something going on in New York. New York is just hopping. Always something going on in New York. So, this video is about the New York governor, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. In my opinion, this woman is a very foolish, a very wicked, a very crooked politician. She is a very foolish politician. See, I don't know her as a person, but as a politician, she's a very foolish politician. Her politics is very foolish, and as a and is wicked, and um, is very superficial. As a leader, she is very superficial. She is not a good leader. She is not an honest leader. She is not. And she is in the position for power and influence and what it can gain for her. She is not for the people of New York. I do not believe that. Governor Kathy Hochul is not for the people of New York. That is not why she wanted to be elected as governor of New York, because she is not for the people. Now, this particular incident that I'm talking about, she wants to consider putting together a bill that would ban face masks on the subway system in New York due to people trying to hide their identities when they get ready to commit anti Semitic acts, which is anti Jewish acts against Jewish people or people who support the Jewish community. The reason why this is so stupid and foolish, because of one of the things that she wants to put in the bill, which she quote unquote calls common sense, is an exemption for wearing a mask for health reasons, cultural, or religious reasons. If it's a ban, it's a ban. These people who you are trying to deter from hiding their faces can use health, culture, or religious reasons as the reason why they got a mask on. So who are you going to stop if everybody can just go around it? The loop, you giving them a loophole to be able to wear a mask. So you saying Muslims who wear coverings as a part of their culture, they wear coverings. Women in particular wear their whole face and everything covered a lot of times. Or you can just simply say, I'm sick, I got COVID, I got a mask on. Or cultural. And one of the exemptions is cultural. So I could just make up anything. So I can say, listen, hip hop culture, I'm wearing a shiesty mask because that's a part of my hip hop culture. Pooh Shiesty wear the mask, so I'm representing Pooh Shiesty. I'm gonna wear the mask on, you know what I'm saying, to represent my hip hop culture. We wear masks in hip hop culture. We wear bandanas, we wear masks, and I'm gonna wear this mask because it's my culture. One of the exemptions is cultural. That is so broad and so wide and so it gives them the ability to still wear the mask. So who can you deter from wearing a mask when you got the three biggest exemptions to wear a mask? She is doing this for the same reason she had the National Guard down there in them subways, which didn't deter anything. Crime still went on. There was attacks still being made, even with the National Guard there. And then people had nerve enough to get offended because they felt like they had their rifles, AR-15s, and so that looked more intimidating, so they got to crying about that. But before they was down there, they was crying about getting attacked randomly by people. I hate to point out the obvious, but it's the Democratic Party, the way that they think, the narrative that they create that deceive themselves. They deceive themselves because they create a narrative over here. Then something happened that calls their narrative into question, and instead of walking it back, they walk right into it anyway. And it causes them to make foolish decisions, more foolish decisions, to stand on something that is not that hasn't a solid foundation in the first place, and then they fall and falter because of it. And instead of realizing I can't do this, they'll create another narrative, and they get so caught up in to trying to live and stand on that narrative. It ain't a principle. It ain't something based on something. It's a narrative. They'll say something and try to live and stand on it, and it will cause them to fall and falter. Because you know why? Because of pride and haughtiness. And it says in the Bible in Proverbs, pride before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. And each and every time they come up with a narrative, what do you see in them? A spirit of haughtiness and a sense of pride. Every time they come, DEI, they had haughtiness about it, CRT, haughtiness about it, a sense of pride, and now it's collapsing. It's collapsing. New Green Deal, haughtiness, they was haughty about it. They're going to make the rich pay their fair share, and they're going to invest in the New Green Deal because of climate change. And they had a spirit of haughtiness about it and a sense of pride, and now it's collapsing. That made up stuff, that imaginary thing that they didn't do their due diligence about with the New Green Deal is collapsing. It's another narrative. It wasn't based on solid foundation. It wasn't based on real science. It wasn't based on real research. It wasn't based on real consideration. It was just something did out of haughtiness and pride. And you see it every time with them. They don't try to put these bills together based on sound advice. They don't do it based on sound principles. They do it out of a spirit of haughtiness and sense of pride. Like they always trying to come up with something they think will outdo the opposite party, right? Which is basically the Republicans or anybody who has conservative values. They always, that's their whole makeup now. They always trying to create a narrative that makes the Republican or the people who believe in conservative values, people who just believe in just a moral compass, they always trying to figure out a way to create a narrative out of a spirit of haughtiness and a sense of pride that they got one on them. And that's enough. Why would you base your politics on that and your policies on that? You should be basing it on research and due diligence. You just went and found out what the people was saying. You put your ears to the streets. You got into the community, you rolled up your sleeves, and you found out what will absolutely work, and then create a policy. She ain't asked nobody nothing really. She just went and said she finna start working on the bill because she think that's what will appease people that, you know, that support what her as a person. Can't be supporting what she doing because she ain't doing nothing. But just coming up with stuff that look good for photo ops. Coming up with narratives that sound good but ain't gonna do nobody no good. It's sad and it's terrible what this governor is doing to the state of New York, all for the sake of a political party and their ideologies and their narratives. She's trying to appease that. It's not doing no good. Do your job. Go do some research. Go do some due diligence. Go vet. Go find out what's really going on. Find out, and if you did that and you sent law enforcement agency out there to really do their job, to go gather evidence, because that's who you need to be working with. You need to be working with the NYPD and the state, New York State Federal Bureau of Investigation. Y'all need to be working together with the people in all the major boroughs and find out where these attacks may come from, who's behind them, and root that out. And then you'll see how much more you got to do. What's the next phase? Before you just put a ban out there that you didn't think well about, that's already got exemptions where people can get around and use them as loopholes to do the anti-Semitic acts anyway, because they can say, hey, this is for my culture. I'm going to wear this mask anyway. It's for my religion. It's for my culture. It's for my health. And these is the evil people that use these exemptions that you're going to put in the bill to commit the acts that you're trying to stop them by banning the face mask anyway. You're giving them 3 big exemptions to use. Do you get that? The people that you want to uncover, you keeping them covered with the exemptions. Gosh, that doesn't make no sense. Anyway, listen, this is Street Church. I'm going to let the congregation out. Before I do, though, listen, like, subscribe, share, comment, run the views up, get you some merch on that. This is Street Church. I'm letting the congregation out. God bless.